And so Clare Millette is here.
Hi.
I got a
Welcome.
feeling a lot of people are tuning in right now as we're talking about this
I
topic.
think they're just getting
It's
warmed
going to
up.
be real
Yeah.
popular here right at the end of the day.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Glad to
we're
have you.
definitely glad to have you here. But before we get into the topic, let's talk about you. Tell us about you. Where you from? Where you attend school? All that stuff.
Absolutely. Well, I'm here. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. I grew up here, born and raised, and moved back here after law school and college. I have been practicing now for about 15 years in the Mississippi law market, and I'm a partner with Cosmic Simmons and Brown here in Jackson, Mississippi. We have recently been following the cannabis laws and learning about all the different regulations, the act itself, and the changes that are that we're going to be talking about in just a minute. So it's been an exciting year, and I can't believe we're here.
Okay, we're glad to have you here.
Yes.
All right, and so in your law firm, you said you just recently got into, or you said just starting to.
Yes. So
What made you do it? What
Sure.
was the deciding factor?
Absolutely. Well, my the genesis of me following this was during the election of 2020, when Mississippi voted on the Initiative 65, and I was very interested in it, started following it, and now we have, last year in February, Governor Reeves signed the bill into law, and so with that comes a very dense act and lots of different regulations, and people often need someone to help them be a guide through learning what that means and what that means for businesses, what that means for you as a patient, what that means for you as an employee. There's lots of different facets of this law that are important for somebody to understand, and so we've been eager to learn them and to help people in the community also do the same.
All right, well, let's just get straight to it. Just tell us about the changes to the current Medical Cannabis Act.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, we are about a year into this program. And so, of course, as this program has gotten off the ground, we've had our first medical cannabis sales this year. And we've seen some things that have worked well for the program and some things that needed a little bit of tweaking. And so this year during the legislative session, our state congressmen have done just that. And so we've got some different changes to the law that we'd like to discuss with you tonight. And some of them are really great for people that are interested in seeking a medical cannabis card. We call those our qualifying patients. So some of the changes that we'll see in the new law are about just that. One of the first things, it's interesting that Rocky just said topical, because topical creams, pain creams, including THC creams, are now going to be available for patients and non-card holders alike at dispensaries. They will be set up in a different area, along with CBD products are now allowed to be sold in dispensaries. So if you have aches and pains, but you may not qualify for a medical card, you still have access now to THC creams, which are very, very helpful for many people.
Talk more in detail about the qualifying for this card, and where do you go? Because I know there's somebody that may have an interest out there. How does that work?
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you asked that question, because some of the additional changes go right into being certified as a patient. What you really need to do is take a look at the qualifying conditions. Mississippi has 25 different conditions that qualify you for getting a medical cannabis card, and we'll walk through those in a little bit more detail shortly. But what the new law is allowing is for patients to also see these certifying physicians, and now these physicians can help them, and their doctor's offices can help them submit all the materials to the state and the Department of Health so they can get their card. Another thing that has been removed is any sort of ability for a state agency or state government to mandate a drug test as a condition of getting a medical cannabis card. In the past, state agencies may have required their physicians that were their certifying practitioners to drug screen their patients. But now, if the doctor is allowed to do it, if it's in the regular course of his practice, but he's not mandated by the state to do so. Another change involves the process and the turnover time for getting your card. This is great news. The Department of Health is now going to have a quicker turnaround time. Once they receive the application, they're going to have 10 days to process it versus the 30 days that was in the old law. So, and most of the pieces of that law are still in place, but that's one of the changes. So if you're interested in getting a medical card, what I advise you do is to go take a look at the conditions, and then you're going to need to find a certifying practitioner. Not all physicians are certifying practitioners. This is something that they must do with the Department of Health. but you can look and see if you may qualify for a card and talk to that practitioner. They're very familiar with what the law is, and they're very willing to help you get the records for your diagnosis if they're not the diagnosing physician, and help facilitate that process. It used to be that then the patient was responsible for uploading those documents. That's that new change. The doctor's office is going to be able to help you get that processed.
So a lot of good information.